Hi friends, in this video we are going to discuss about Say's law of market. Say's law of market is the core of the classical theory of employment. I think you are familiar with the classical economics. Classical economics is a school of thought in economics that flourished primarily in Britain in the late 80th and early to mid 90th century. Its main thinkers are Adam Smith, J.B. Say, David Ricardo, Thomas Robert Malthus and J.S. Mill. The Say's law of market is introduced by J.B. Say, a famous French economist. He enunciated the statement that supply creates its own demand. It means the demand for any commodity is the function of the supply of other commodities. It implies that the supply of goods generates sufficient income to create demand for goods equal to its supply. In other words, the production of goods itself creates its own purchasing power. Therefore, there is no possibility of overproduction and unemployment in the economy. Even if there is some unemployment in the short run, the economy automatically tends towards full employment in the long run. Say's law is based on some assumption. Let us see the important assumptions. First of all, pure competition exists in the market. It means no single buyer or seller of the commodities or input can affect its price. The second assumption is wages and prices are considered to be flexible. It means the wages and prices of goods are free to move to whatever level the supply and demands dictate. Then third one, self-interest. It assumes that people are motivated by self-interest. It means the businessmen want to maximize their profits and the households want to maximize their economic well-being. And the fourth one, there is no government interference. It means there is no necessity on the part of the government to intervene in the business matters. And fifth assumption is it assumes money illusion. It treats money as a medium of exchange, then veil money having no effects on economic activities. And fifth one, they believes that there is full employment. And seventh one, it operates and holds true only in the long period. And last one, money is not hoarded but spent on consumption or production. Let us see the important facts of Say's law of market. First one is the production creates demand for goods. When producers obtain the various inputs to be used in the production process, they generate the necessary income. For example, producers give wages to the laborers for producing goods. By producing this, they get wages. The laborers purchases the goods from the market by using these wages. This in turn causes demand for goods produced. In this way, supply creates its own demand. And second one, barter and monetized economy. In its original form, the law is applicable to the barter economy, where goods are ultimately sold for goods. Therefore, whatever is produced is ultimately consumed in the economy. In other words, people produce goods for their own use to sustain their consumption levels or to get other goods in exchange for the produce. When people offer their produce in barter for other goods, they create demand for the goods. This law is also valid in monetized economy. In monetized economy, money is used to exchange goods and services. Here, the inputs used in the production generates money income in the form of wage, interest, and rent and profits. Those incomes are spent on purchasing the goods produced. Therefore, it creates demand. It implies that if there is production, there is income, and if there is income, there is demand for goods. The supply creates its own demand in monetized economy also. Third one is no general overproduction. Say's law states that there is no general overproduction. When there is an increase in production, there is also increase in income of related factors. Consequently, new demand is created and there is no general overproduction. General overproduction may exist in the short run, but it is automatically adjusted by the market forces of demand and supply in the long run. And third one is saving and investment equality. Generally, income is spent on consumption. When some amount of income remains unspent on consumption or saved, overproduction may exist. According to Say's, saving will be automatically converted into investment in the further production process. Therefore, investment in production is a saving which helps to create demand for goods in their market, in the market. Further, saving investment equality is maintained to avoid the general overproduction. Then fifth point is labor market. You know, labor always seeks a higher wage rate, but it causes a fall in demand for labor and a rise in unemployment. In a free market economy, flexible rate of wages automatically restores full employment through the interaction of the demand for and supply of labor. And next we pass on to the implications of the law of market. Sees propositions and its implications present the true picture of the market. Let's see the implications. First one, full employment in the economy. The law is based on the proposition that there is full employment in the economy. Here, increase in production means more possibility for employment to the factors of production. Production will continue to increase until the level of full employment is reached. Under such situation, the level of production will be optimum. Then second one, proper utilization of resources. If there is full employment in the economy, idle resources will be properly utilized, which will further helps to produce more and generate more income. Then third point is with respect to the perfect competition. Say's law of market is based on the proposition of perfect competition in the labor and product market. Other conditions of the perfect competition are size of the market, role of the money as neutral, and automatic adjustment mechanism. With respect to the size of the market, it is considered as large enough to create a demand for goods. And in case of the role of money, the law is based on the proposition of the barter system where goods are exchanged for goods. But it is also assumed that the role of money is neutral. It means money does not affect the production process. Then with respect to the automatic adjustment mechanism, the law is based on the proposition that there is automatic and self-adjusting mechanism in different markets. Disequilibrium in any market is the temporary situation. Then we come to the fourth implication of the law that is related to the laissez-faire policy. The law assumes a closed capitalist economy which follows the policy of laissez-faire. The policy of laissez-faire is essential for an automatic and self-adjusting process of full employment equilibrium. Then fifth implication is saving as a social virtue. All factor income is spent in buying, which they helps to produce. Whatever is saved is automatically invested in the further production process. In other words, saving is considered as a social virtue. Then next we pass on to the criticisms of the Say's law of market. First criticism is supply does not create its demand. Say's law assumes that production creates market for goods, but this proposition is not applicable to the modern economics where demand does not increase as much production increases. It is also not possible to consume only those goods which are produced within the economy. Second criticism is that self-adjustment is not possible. According to Say's law, full employment is maintained by an automatic and self-adjustment mechanism in the long run. But Keynes had no patience to wait for the long period, for he believed that in the long run we are all dead. According to the Keynes, it is not the automatic adjustment process which removes unemployment, but unemployment can be removed by increasing effective demand. Then third criticism is related to the money, money is not neutral in the sense. Say's law of market is based on the barter system and it ignores the role of money in the system. Say's believes that money does not affect the economic activities of the market. Conversely, Keynes has given due importance to the money. He regards money as a medium of exchange. Individuals hold money for unforeseen contingencies while businessmen keep cash in reserve for future activities. Then third criticism, overproduction is possible. Say's law is based on the proposition that supply creates its own demand and there cannot be general overproduction. But Keynes does not agree with this proposition. According to him, all income accruing to the factors of production is not spent, but some fraction out of it is saved, which is not automatically invested. Therefore, saving and investments are always not equal, and it becomes the problem of overproduction and unemployment. The fifth one, there may have unemployment situations. Keynes regards full employment as a special case for the reason that there is unemployment in capitalist economies. This is since the capitalist economies do not function according to the Say's law and supply always exceeds its demand. For example, millions of workers are prepared to work at the current wage rate and even below it, but they cannot find work. According to Keynes, unemployment results from deficiency of effective demand because people do not spend the whole of their income on consumption. Let me conclude. This law had more popularity till the publication of the Keynes' great work, The Gender Theory of Employment, Interest and Money. Even though there are a lot of criticisms, this law is not as meaningless as some assumes. Say's law is still held to be valid. In principle, the economy would always absorb all the commodities it was capable of producing. Even today, we know that the law is true to the extent production creates its own demand via payment to the factors of production and their resulting consumption. So by this, we come to the end of this video. I hope you all are clear about Say's law of market. Thank you.